It's different, but it's also similar in enough ways that it kind of gives you a sense of nostalgia.
Prey is a soft remake of 1987's Predator movie without the dramatic tension or memorable supporting characters that made the original so great. Deal with it. The sequels to Predator all range from, wow, that had some rad moments, to Jesus fucking Christ, enough of this, and Prey has aspects of both. I mean, hey, it's always great to see, or often not see, the Predator murdering people in diverse and awesome ways. But what if Prey was as good as all the hype claims it is? What if it didn't just middle out as an okay Predator prequel? What if there was a reason to include the gun from Predator 2 in Prey? What if the Predator hadn't died in such a stupid fucking way at the end? What if Naru had other interesting or morally great characters to interact with in Prey? And what if they hadn't boxed themselves in with this franchise by claiming the 1700s is the first time the Predators have been to Earth? I mean, come on, man. So much for the Predators versus medieval knights, or Predators versus samurai, or Predators hunting dinosaurs. Because deep down, you know you want it. But really, what if a lot of things were different in this movie? What if Prey opened with the Predator getting dropped off and cloaking up? We know what we're here for. Give it to us. Maybe that's when we see the lion take off from the cave. The Predator follows to track it and explore a new planet. Maybe it's just this Predator's first hunt on Earth. What if then we met Naru, practicing her hatchet throws as always? What if when she noticed the deer tracks, we also saw that her and her dog were being tracked as well, in thermal vision? What if instead of running after and keeping pace with a fucking deer, instead, Naru showed us some of her initial hunting skills by slowly and methodically tracking it down? What if then Naru aimed to take her kill shot at the deer, but we heard her dog cry out? We might even be relieved to see that it's just been ensnared in a horrific bear trap. What if the dog didn't get its tail stuck in the trap at all? Because honestly, what the actual fuck was that anyway? How did it get its tail stuck in the trap? Did it sit down on it? But I get it. Maiming the doggo is a major inconvenience for the plot, and no one wants to see anything bad happen to this dog. Especially me. So, what if instead the doggo just gets stuck in a baited cage trap? And what if while Naru freed the dog, we saw, again, in thermal vision, the Predator assessing her as a non-threat, something unworthy of hunting? Maybe then Naru stares into what seem to be empty trees and sees two yellow eyes flash back at her. What if Tabe... Oh, by the way, that's the name of Naru's brother in Prey. What if Tabe was supportive but doubtful of Naru's desire to hunt? Maybe he respects her commitment to it, but doesn't believe in her like their dead dad did. Maybe you even hint that he resents the bond she had with him. What if when we met Tabe, Naru's brother, he was genuinely teaching her to hit a moving target like the eagle? What if Naru misses her shot, and before she has the opportunity to try again, someone else shoots it? Maybe at that moment, the other Comanche hunters show up. Maybe they all have names too. Just give them all at least hunting nicknames that speak to their specialties or something. What if those specialties played into the story? Naru learning from each of them until she's the last one standing against the Predator. Maybe she implements those skills in her final showdown with the Predator. But nah, fuck it. What if the Comanche hunters were there to tell Tabe, again, Naru's brother, about the lion? Instead of Naru demanding to come along as a hunter, Tabe, her brother, advocates for her to come along, citing her advanced abilities with medicine to them. Maybe Naru's even excited to make the most out of an opportunity she's apparently been waiting for her whole life. Finally, joining the hunt. What if they found their fellow Comanche, who's been lion attacked, speaking gibberish about something he couldn't see, scaring off the lion? Maybe that's when Naru gives him the magic flower to explain what it does and how it works. What if it's just a sedative and not a body temperature lowering coagulate? What if then Naru gets put in the tree with the guy that just apparently fucking hates her guts? What if he's also a young and inexperienced hunter on lookout duty? Maybe instead of being taken unaware, he notices the lion approaching them in the grass. What if as he aims his bow for the lion, the Predator ends up taking him out? What if that's why the lion jumped into the tree? I mean, the fucking Predator is after it after all. Maybe Naru gets pushed to the edge of the branch and fumbles her bow? What if then the lion pounces at Naru, but gets hit with those auto-aim predator arrows? Maybe then she falls to the ground with it and begins losing consciousness, only to catch a glimpse of the predator collecting its trophy, the lion's head and skull. What if, before she passes out, she sees a flash of the glowing yellow eyes again? What if then Naru woke up to the tribe celebrating Tabe? Oh, by the way, that's her brother, and his successful lion kill. What if then Naru has a reason to be upset in this scene? She knows he's lying. Maybe she even asks him, where's the lion's head? Maybe that becomes a driving motivation for Naru to go out and hunt the predator. What if she set out to redeem herself as a member of the tribe and maybe even be accepted as a hunter? Maybe it adds an aspect of redemption to the story. What if Naru didn't just find the predator's blood in some field? Maybe instead she goes back to the site of the lion kill and begins tracking the predator from there. What if Tabe, and again I really do feel the need to point out that he is in fact Naru's brother, set out to track her from the lion attack with his fellow Comanche hunters? Maybe he even has a scene where he has to convince them to come along and help. What if then Naru gets a montage of her tracking down the predator? Maybe there's also a few scenes of the Comanche hunters tracking her down too. What if as Naru was following the predator's tracks, they suddenly just disappeared? Maybe since earlier she saw the eyes in the trees, she begins to look up with her bow drawn. What if looking up at the tree line distracts her just enough that she doesn't know she's come into the presence of the grizzly bear? She stays calm this time, as opposed to the lion, but when she draws her bow, her string breaks, and then, just as the grizzly bear gets on her, the predator jumps out of the trees in stealth to attack. What if, as they struggled with each other, there was a reason for the predator to be covered in the bear's blood? Like maybe it has to slit the bear's throat for the kill. Otherwise, he's just giving up his invisibility advantage, unless he just doesn't realize that he's covered in blood? What if that's when the Comanche hunters found Naru? At that moment, along with a bloody predator celebrating with a bear over its goddamn head. Maybe this is the conflict where most of the Comanche hunters get slaughtered. What if Naru and Tabe, who, in case you've forgotten, is Naru's brother, both escaped into the tall grass with 2 more Comanche hunters? Maybe this act of retreat, although the smart move, made us question Tabe's courage further. What if as the predator searches the tall grass, it's attacked from above by a remaining Comanche hunter with a hatchet? Maybe the predator is visibly injured from the attack, and what if, as a result of the wounds it sustained, the predator was unable to pursue them, so instead shoots a primitive smart disc through the tall grass at them? What if that smart disc sliced one of the remaining Comanche in half and then boomeranged into the air to circle back around for the others? Maybe then Naru draws her bow and hits the moving target, shooting the smart disc off course. What if after that shit the predator just said, fuck it, and let them flee? He's got trophies to collect, and maybe now we see him use that instant decay spray for the first time on a human skull, as we watch a severed head quickly deteriorate into a fresh trophy for the old belt. Maybe that's when we see the predator attending to its wounds. What if Naru and Tabe, who again is her brother, had no choice now but to kill the predator? It was her idea to go after it in the first place, and his idea to drag the other hunters from the tribe into it looking for her. Maybe Naru and her brother debate whether they should go back to the tribe or continue the hunt. What if Naru pointed out that a good hunter wouldn't stop until they've caught their prey, and that going back to the tribe means bringing the predator back home? Maybe Naru has some bright green blood on her from the fight and says, the line.
If it bleeds, we can kill it.
What if they then made camp for the night, and while the remaining Comanche hunter was out patrolling, we heard a blood-curdling scream? Maybe then Naru and Tabe, her brother, in case you didn't get his name at this point, discovered their fellow hunter with a crushed leg. You know, because it's caught in a fucking bear trap? What if when they went to help him, that's when the French trappers captured them? The gun from Predator 2 coming into frame close to the back of Naru's head. What if that was our introduction to Raphael Adolini? And what if he had actually been a remotely interesting character? What if Adolini, fuck it, let's just call him Ralph. What if Ralph is leading the party of trappers? Maybe make him a fun anti-hero in a story where the main villain is an invisible monster going around hunting people for sport. What if instead of Ralph being a translator, he had a translator to speak in Comanche? Maybe that detail ends up being important to the story later. And what if he asked, through his translator, about what happened to the grizzly bear and their men? What if they told the truth? That an invisible monster slaughtered them all and is now hunting them. Maybe most of the trappers don't believe it, but Ralph does. Maybe then Ralph shoots the remaining Comanche, proving himself to be a ruthless but pragmatic character, since a broken leg in a 1700s bear trap, in all fairness, would probably be beyond treating in that situation. What if when they're set out as bait, the predator still begins slaughtering the trappers while they escape, without any stories about beavers? Instead, just have the dog free them. Maybe it chews through the rope. What if Tabe, Naru's brother, then disappeared again? Maybe Naru notices and is left on her own in the fray with all the trappers. Hell, this would be the scene to have Naru kill a bunch of them and all the bloodshed and chaos of the situation. What if Ralph ended up face to face with the Predator? Maybe he aims to shoot the gun from Predator 2, but the Predator from Prey grabs his hand, breaking all the bones and leaving it disfigured and collapsed around the gun from Predator 2. Maybe he breaks Ralph's hand and the gun goes off around the Predator's hand, damaging its cloaking tech. Maybe then Naru gets a little fight scene against the Predator, even noticeably damaging it with, of course, her hatchet. What if that's when Tabe, Naru's brother in Prey, returns riding the horse to knock off the Predator's helmet, getting his proper death scene? Maybe that's when Naru grabs the helmet. Fuck it, maybe that's when her dog grabs the helmet. What if after escaping to the river, Naru then came across a maimed Ralph, with his crushed hand and severed leg? Maybe despite all his cruelty, Naru still treats his wounds because she knows that she needs to keep him alive for now to help her set the traps that will kill the Predator later. What if that's when Ralph showed Naru how to use the gun from Predator 2? What if now they had to unite as allies to come up with a plan to kill a more dangerous enemy? Maybe they can't understand each other's words, but communicate through their shared understanding of the hunt. What if the finale was actually satisfying and gave Naru the opportunity to face the Predator using the knowledge that she'd gained from previous mistakes and encounters with it? Maybe she even goes and does some of the exact same moves that we saw her brother use against the Predator, demonstrating how much they'd trained together. What if Ralph and Naru assumed the Predator would be looking for its helmet, so they set it out as the initial trap? Maybe Naru thinks to coat the magic flower stuff around the inside of the helmet, forcing the Predator to abandon the tech for the rest of their final showdown. What if, after a variety of stealth attacks from Naru, using her Comanche hunting skills and a series of brutal traps set by Ralph, this unlikely team was slowly able to chip away at the Predator? Maybe the Predator even thwarts a few of the initial traps since it's learned from earlier. But if that actually helped to create tension in the finale? What if we actually felt like Naru's life was in danger? What if the Predator did damage to her? Or slowed her down? Or forced her to improvise? Something. What if anything other than Naru ripping the Predator's tooth out of its mouth and shoving it through its goddamn eyeball had happened? What if ultimately Ralph still ended up as bait, allowing Naru to sneak up behind the Predator and blow its brains out point blank in the back of the head? With the gun from Predator 2. Maybe then she just leaves it there. I assume she doesn't have many bullets, so fuck it. Plus, the implication if she keeps it.
Because of the implication.
What if we got a close-up of the Predator's dead body and its wrist device as it activates? Naru turns her head in confusion and it self-destructs. Alright, let's do the happy ending. What if at the end of Prey, the wrist device on the Predator starts up with a few moments of tension, but nothing happens? Maybe then Naru returns to her tribe, the best hunter among them. Because, to be fair, she's the only hunter among them. I kid, but really, what if Naru looked visibly changed and injured and hardened from the losses of her brother and fellow hunters, but ultimately was able to hold her head up high and proudly for the first time in front of her tribe, truly as a hunter among them?
Maybe it's not snowing. Literally one of the only established pieces of lore to the Predator franchise is that they only hunt during extremely hot...
Oh, fuck it. And what if the last scene was a final shot panning over the graves of each of Naru's fellow Comanche hunters and finally her brother? Maybe she buried their skulls since the Predator had been carrying them around as trophies. What if we heard the wrist device activate again with a close-up of the gun from Predator 2 lying next to a now beheaded Predator from Prey? Maybe it's being eaten by scavenger animals that fly away as we hear a spaceship landing. Okay, let's do the fun ending. So if you like sequels to prequels, what if the last scene of Prey was the predators coming down to Naru's tribe and Naru agreeing to go with them? Maybe then Prey 2 would be a setup for a remake of Predators, which, if we're going to remake a Predator movie, in all fairness, it should be that one. I mean, think about it. Throw in all different types of killers, from across time, knights, samurai, dinosaurs, the works. What if the final post-credits scene was just all those different warriors from across time suspended in animation and one dinosaur, ready to be unfrozen whenever the predators feel like hunting them? Please, give us that. Because while Predator 1 and 2 may both have their stars that shine brightest in Dutch and Harrigan, those movies are memorable because of their ensemble casts. Each of those Predator movies contains characters that all contribute to the story in meaningful, or at least entertaining ways, regardless of their screen time. Besides the dog, Prey just doesn't give that to Naru. Not even with Tabe, who was her brother, by the way. And much like the actual movie, in the end, we're left with Naru and the Predator and no sense of tension or danger or even chemistry between them. So what if the next Predator movie incorporated all the best elements of Prey, being set in a unique time and place, introducing new Predator hunting tech, and keeping that lean runtime of under 2 hours? Maybe then we'll have some hope that this franchise can evolve just as quickly as the Predators apparently do between this movie and the original.